Hey there! Have you ever found yourself wondering what advice you'd give your younger self if you could go back in time? Well, today, we're diving into some deep life lessons, the kind that often come too late for many of us. But here's the good news, you're not too late. In this video, we'll explore 7 invaluable lessons that Charles Johansson learned the hard way, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. From the importance of sleep and exercise to nurturing meaningful relationships and managing your finances wisely, these lessons can help pave the way for a healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life after 50. Stick with me until the end because there are some actionable strategies here that can help you avoid regrets and empower you to make positive changes right now. And hey, if you're into self-improvement, healthy living, and timeless wisdom, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future content. Your support means the world, and if you enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like and share it with others. It really helps to spread these valuable lessons. Plus, I'd love your feedback. Comment 1 if you're finding this helpful or 0 if there's anything you'd like me to improve. Now, let's jump into the first lesson. 1. Sleep is the best medicine. Never underestimate the profound, life-changing power of a good night's sleep. It's not just rest, sleep is the invisible medicine that mends both body and soul. When Charles looks back on his younger years, he vividly recalls countless sleepless nights, staying up late, fueled by the rush of deadlines, or mindlessly binging TV shows until dawn. He convinced himself that sleep was something he could catch up on over the weekend. How wrong he was. What a grave mistake. By the time Charles hit 50, subtle yet alarming signs began to creep into his life. He felt constantly irritated, struggled to focus, and, worst of all, his memory began to betray him. He blamed it all on the pressures of work, never realizing that the true culprit was the silent deprivation of sleep that had been chipping away at his well-being for decades. Now, at 80, Charles looks back with a mixture of regret and newfound clarity. He's painfully aware of the price he paid: heart issues, type 2 diabetes, and the unsettling beginnings of cognitive decline. These were the cruel consequences of neglecting something as simple and vital as sleep, consequences that perhaps could have been avoided, or at least softened, if he had only prioritized rest as much as his ambitions. If only I could turn back the clock, Charles says with a heartfelt sigh, I would make sleep my top priority. I would protect it fiercely, with no excuses. I'd stick to at least 7 hours of sleep every single night, no matter what. I'd develop a soothing bedtime routine, banish all screens an hour before bed, and transform my bedroom into a true sanctuary of peace and relaxation. Charles has come to understand that sleep is far more than just the time when we close our eyes. It's the sacred time when the body repairs its tissues, the brain filters through and processes the vast experiences of the day, and memories are delicately filed away, ensuring they stay with us. It's also when our immune system stands guard, fortifying our defenses against illnesses we might never even see coming. I remember reading about all the benefits of sleep back then, Charles admits, but I shrugged it off. I didn't take it seriously. Now he watches his grandchildren repeating the same mistakes, staying up late and scrolling through their phones, and he feels a sharp pang of worry. He tries to warn them, but they wave him off, thinking it's just the ramblings of an old man. Charles's voice carries wisdom as he pleads with those in their 50s, urging them to see sleep for what it truly is, a cornerstone of health, as crucial as eating right or staying active. He advises them to set firm bedtimes and wake-up times, even on weekends, to create a sleep haven that's dark, quiet, and cool. And for heaven's sake, get rid of the TV in the bedroom. He also emphasizes the importance of seeking help when sleep becomes elusive. Chronic insomnia, loud snoring, or gasping for breath in the middle of the night aren't just annoyances, they could be warning signs of sleep apnea or other serious conditions that could lead to dire consequences if left untreated. Charles's message is clear and urgent: don't wait until it's too late to realize that sleep is your body's most potent and natural medicine. Treat it with the care and respect it deserves, because, as Charles now knows, the years lost to sleeplessness are ones you can never get back. 2. Beware of those who drain your energy. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a profound impact on your life. Some will inspire, uplift, and fill your days with joy, while others, often without you realizing it, will drain your energy, leaving you feeling exhausted and depleted. It's a lesson Charles learned painfully as he entered his 50s, a lesson he wishes he had taken to heart much earlier. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you're still here with me. Back then, Charles prided himself on the wide social circle he had cultivated over the years. His life was filled with friends, colleagues, neighbors, and acquaintances from every walk of life. He thought the sheer number of connections reflected his success, a measure of a life well lived. But over time, Charles realized that not all friendships are created equal. Quantity doesn't necessarily mean quality, and some relationships can do more harm than good. I had this one friend, let's call him Frank, Charles recalls, his voice tinged with regret. Frank had been a part of my life for years. We worked together, and we'd meet up regularly, but there was something I couldn't put my finger on. Every single time we met, Frank would unload on me, his problems, his complaints, his endless list of grievances. He was never happy, always finding fault with the world. I tried to be there for him, thinking I was being a good friend, listening patiently to his dramas, but over time, I started to notice something strange. After every conversation with Frank, I felt completely drained. It wasn't just that I was tired, I felt emotionally depleted, like a weight had been placed on my shoulders. At first, Charles didn't make the connection. He thought his exhaustion was due to the usual stresses of work and life. But the more time he spent with Frank, the more he began to notice a pattern. The negativity was contagious. He would leave their meetings in a worse mood than when he arrived, often feeling frustrated or even anxious. It was as though Frank's energy was dragging him down, and it took Charles a long time to realize that this so-called friendship was doing more harm than good. I didn't see it right away, Charles admits, shaking his head. But eventually, I realized that Frank wasn't just venting, he was draining my energy. It wasn't healthy for me. It's a tough pill to swallow, realizing that someone you consider a friend may be toxic. For years, Charles kept these kinds of draining relationships alive out of a sense of duty, loyalty, and, frankly, fear. He was afraid of cutting people off, afraid of being seen as selfish, and, most of all, afraid of being alone. Like many people, he clung to the idea that long-term friendships should be maintained at all costs, even if they were harmful. But now, at 80, Charles sees things differently, with the clarity that comes with age. He understands that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential for your mental and emotional well-being. If I could go back to my 50s, Charles reflects, I would be much more discerning about who I allowed into my life. I would prioritize my peace of mind, my happiness, and my health over maintaining relationships that didn't serve me. And it's not about being cold or unkind, it's about self-preservation. You have to be selective about who gets your time and energy, because those are resources you can't get back. Charles wishes more people in their 50s would realize that it's never too late to reevaluate your relationships. By this age, you've gained enough life experience to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship, whether it's constant negativity, one-sidedness, or feeling consistently drained after spending time with someone. You also have the maturity and courage to take action, even if that means making difficult decisions about the people in your life. Charles emphasizes that it's crucial to pay attention to how you feel after interactions with different individuals. Some people will leave you feeling energized, happy, and inspired, he explains. These are the relationships that enrich your life. Others, though, will leave you feeling tired, irritable, or even anxious, and those are the ones you need to watch out for. To help identify the draining relationships in your life, Charles suggests a simple but powerful exercise. Make an inventory of your friendships. Sit down and write a list of the people you spend the most time with, and next to each name, note how you typically feel after being around them. It can be an eye-opening experience, revealing patterns you may not have noticed before. It's not always easy to confront, Charles acknowledges, but it's necessary. Once you see those patterns, you can start making changes. That doesn't mean you need to abruptly cut ties with people or completely shut them out of your life. Charles is quick to clarify that it's about setting healthy boundaries, not burning bridges. For some relationships, it may be as simple as limiting the amount of time you spend together or steering conversations away from negative topics. For others, it might mean having an honest conversation about how the relationship is affecting you and seeing if things can improve. In some cases, it may be best to gradually distance yourself from the person altogether if the relationship continues to be toxic. But Charles also stresses that while it's important to protect your energy from draining relationships, it's equally important to open yourself up to new, positive connections. Even after 50, you're never too old to make new friends, he says with a smile. There are so many wonderful people out there who can bring joy, laughter, and support into your life. Don't close yourself off to new experiences just because you think it's too late. Get out there, join a club, volunteer, pick up a hobby, or just say hello to someone new. You'd be surprised at the amazing, kind-hearted people you can meet. Charles has found that surrounding himself with people who share his values and interests has brought a new sense of fulfillment and peace to his life. He knows firsthand that the quality of your relationships has a direct impact on your health and well-being. Scientific studies support this, showing that people with strong, supportive social connections are not only happier but also healthier. They tend to have stronger immune systems, lower rates of heart disease, and, astonishingly, they live longer lives. As Charles looks back on his journey, his message is clear and full of heartfelt wisdom. Don't underestimate the power of the company you keep. The people in your life shape your energy, your mood, and even your health. Surround yourself with those who inspire, support, and uplift you, and protect your energy from those who bring you down. Remember, the relationships you nurture today will shape your well-being for years to come. That's the end of part 1. If you found these lessons insightful, let me know in the comments below. Stay tuned for more valuable insights in part 2 of this video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. There's so much more wisdom coming your way. 3. Exercise is the best natural therapy. Never underestimate the immense power of physical exercise. It's the most powerful, natural, and completely free antidepressant you'll ever find. When Charles looks back at how he treated exercise in his 50s, his memories are filled with regret. I had 1,000 excuses, he recalls with a shake of his head. I was always too busy, too tired, or I just didn't see the point. After all, I wasn't overweight, and my health seemed fine at the time. What a big mistake that was. At 50, Charles, like so many others his age, completely underestimated the importance of regular movement. He spent the majority of his days sitting, long hours at the office, evenings lounging at home, and even lazy weekends meant for rest. He convinced himself that rest was what his body needed. Occasionally, he'd go for a casual walk or play a round of golf with friends, but nothing was consistent, nothing serious. He didn't yet understand the deeper benefits of exercise beyond just staying in shape. If I could go back in time, Charles reflects, I would make exercise an absolute non-negotiable in my life, and not just to lose weight or look fit, but as an essential investment in my long-term physical and mental health. Unfortunately, Charles learned this critical lesson too late. Now, at 80, he grapples with mobility issues, chronic pain, aches, and stiffness that he knows could have been minimized or maybe even avoided if only he had committed to a regular exercise routine decades earlier. Exercise isn't just about muscles and bones, Charles explains somberly. It's about your heart, your lungs, your hormones. It's about keeping your body in balance and feeling alive and energized every day. Charles wishes he could tell every 50-year-old out there to start prioritizing movement right now. Because at 50, you still have the opportunity to build a strong foundation of strength and endurance that will be crucial as you age. Don't wait until you're dealing with pain or serious health issues to finally get moving, he urges. Start now, even if it's with small steps, your body will thank you for it. Charles suggests starting with something simple, something enjoyable. Find an activity you like doing, he advises. I discovered much too late that I love swimming. It's a perfect low-impact exercise that's easy on the joints and great for all ages. But it doesn't have to be swimming, it could be dancing, yoga, cycling, or even walking through the park. Whatever it is, the key is to move, and move regularly. One of the biggest lessons Charles learned was that a well-rounded exercise routine is crucial. It's not enough to just focus on one type of activity. You need to incorporate different forms of movement, aerobic exercises to keep your heart strong, strength training to maintain muscle and bone health, and flexibility and balance exercises to keep you agile. This combination, he says, is the secret to aging well. It's what will keep you on your feet as you get older and help you stay independent and active. But it's not just the physical benefits of exercise that Charles wishes he had known earlier. He also discovered, much to his surprise, how deeply exercise can impact mental health. For years, I struggled with what I thought was just stress or the weight of getting older, he admits. I didn't realize I was dealing with mild depression. It wasn't until I started exercising regularly, on my doctor's advice, that I noticed a huge difference. It was as if a heavy fog had been lifted from my mind. Charles wants people to know that exercise isn't just about staying fit or losing weight, it's one of the best natural remedies for your mental well-being. Don't underestimate the power of exercise to lift your mood, he says. Studies have shown that regular exercise can be just as effective as medication for mild to moderate depression. And the best part? All the side effects are positive. You feel stronger, more energized, more alive. He stresses that while it's never too late to start moving, the sooner you begin, the better. At 50, you still have the advantage of strength and endurance, Charles points out. Use that to your benefit. Start building the habit now, and your future self will be eternally grateful. For those who feel intimidated or overwhelmed by the idea of starting an exercise routine, Charles offers this gentle encouragement: you don't need to become an athlete overnight. Start slow. Start with something as simple as a 15-minute walk each day. Gradually increase that to 30 minutes, then add in some basic bodyweight strength exercises, push-ups, squats, lunges. It doesn't have to be complicated. What matters most is consistency. Charles's journey has taught him that exercise isn't just a hobby or something you do to look good in a bathing suit, it's a form of therapy, a way to care for yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Looking back, I realize how much of my life could have been different if I had prioritized movement, he says. But I also know it's never too late to start. Whether you're 50 or 80, movement is life. So take that first step, your body and your mind will thank you. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you're still here with me. Charles's message is one of hope and urgency. Don't wait for a wake-up call to realize how vital exercise is to your well-being. Make it a priority now, before the aches, before the pains, before the struggles. Whether it's a brisk walk in the morning, a dance class, or just stretching at home, every bit of movement counts. And in the end, the investment you make in your physical and mental health today will pay off in ways you can't even imagine tomorrow. 4. Choose your habits wisely. What may seem easy or harmless today can become an overwhelming burden tomorrow, and what's hard today might become nearly impossible if you delay dealing with it. Charles learned this lesson the hard way. In his 50s, he held on to several habits he believed were part of normal adult life: smoking a few cigarettes here and there to relieve stress, enjoying a couple of whiskey drinks every night to unwind, and grabbing fast food lunches for the sake of convenience. At the time, none of it seemed particularly harmful. He convinced himself that he had control over it all, not realizing he was slowly building a fragile foundation for his future health. I thought I had everything under control, Charles admits with a deep sigh of regret. I wasn't a heavy smoker, I wasn't drinking to get drunk, and I thought throwing in a salad once in a while would balance out the fast food. I truly believed that I could change these habits anytime I wanted to. What naivety! Charles's story is one that many can relate to. Small habits, seemingly insignificant at the moment, become chains that are harder and harder to break as the years go by. What seemed like a simple choice at 50 became a daily battle by 60, an entrenched struggle by 70, and a nearly immovable force by 80. If I could go back in time, Charles reflects, I'd be far more mindful about the habits I was cultivating. I would take a step back and think long and hard about whether those habits were building a foundation for health or slowly dismantling it. I would choose a healthier lifestyle early on, knowing that it would pave the way for a more peaceful and higher quality of life in my later years. Charles emphasizes the importance of looking at your daily habits with a long-term perspective. He urges people in their 50s to ask themselves a critical question: this habit I have today, how is it going to affect my life 10, 20, 30 years from now? Is this something I want to carry with me into my future? That kind of deep reflection can be eye-opening. Charles suggests making an honest, thorough inventory of your habits. List everything you do daily, both the good and the bad. Then categorize them into 3 groups: habits you want to keep, habits you want to modify, and habits you need to eliminate. This exercise, though simple, can reveal a lot about the patterns we don't always pay attention to. Charles learned that breaking bad habits is not just about eliminating them, it's about replacing them with healthier alternatives. When I quit smoking, I started chewing sugar-free gum, he says. When I cut out alcohol, I replaced it with relaxing herbal teas in the evenings. You can't just leave a void, you need to find healthy substitutes that will fill the space where the bad habit used to be. He stresses the importance of starting small and making gradual changes. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything at once. Focus on one habit at a time. Give yourself the grace and time to adjust. These are lifelong changes we're talking about, not quick-fix solutions. Another powerful strategy Charles discovered is the use of anchor habits. Anchor habits involve attaching new, healthier habits to routines you already have in place. For example, he explains, before brushing your teeth in the morning, something you're already in the habit of doing, add 5 minutes of stretching to that. That way, the new habit becomes seamlessly integrated into your daily routine. It doesn't feel like a huge, disruptive change. This method makes it easier to incorporate positive changes, and over time, these new habits become just as natural as brushing your teeth. Consistency, Charles emphasizes, is the true key to lasting change. Don't beat yourself up for not being perfect, he advises gently. We all slip up. If you miss a day or fall back into an old habit, don't use that as an excuse to give up altogether. Just get back on track the next day. It's not about perfection, it's about the cumulative effect of your choices over time. Charles's words are filled with wisdom earned from experience. He knows that it's steady, small improvements that yield the greatest rewards. One of the most important things Charles wants people to realize is that it's never too late to make positive changes, but the earlier you start, the easier it will be. At 50, you still have the mental and physical flexibility to adopt new habits with relative ease. Use that to your advantage, he urges. Don't wait until it becomes a matter of life or death, until your doctor tells you that you have to change. Start now, while you have the strength and energy to make those changes without the pressure of a health crisis. For Charles, building healthy habits is more than just about improving physical health, it's an act of self-love and self-respect. Every time you choose a healthy habit, you're sending yourself a message that you care about your future well-being. It's a gift you give to your future self, he says with emotion. Believe me, your future self will thank you immensely for every good choice you make today. And Charles closes his thoughts with a powerful reflection: your habits shape your life. The small choices you make every day are what build the foundation of your future. Choose them wisely. Cultivate them with patience and intention, and the rewards will be something you'll carry with you for many years to come. As he speaks, he does so with the clarity of someone who has lived through the consequences of his choices, both good and bad. His message is a simple yet profound reminder that we are the sum of our habits. The things we do today will ripple into our tomorrow, and the habits we choose to cultivate will either serve us or harm us as we age. Charles's wisdom is an urgent call to action: take control of your habits now before they take control of you. 5. Money brings security, not happiness. Save at least 10% of what you earn. This simple practice can bring you far more peace of mind than any impulsive purchase ever could. At 50, Charles was at the peak of his career, enjoying the fruits of his hard work. He earned well, and his income provided him the opportunity to indulge in the luxuries of life. He believed he deserved every bit of it: new cars, designer clothes, dinners at 5-star restaurants, and lavish vacations. I thought I was living life to the fullest, Charles recalls with a mixture of nostalgia and regret. But now, looking back, he sees how misguided his thinking was. He was accumulating things and experiences, but they lacked true meaning and fulfillment. Worse, he was neglecting something far more important, his future financial security. Charles learned too late that the real value of money isn't in the temporary pleasures it can buy but in the long-term security and freedom it can provide. If I could go back to my 50s, Charles reflects with a sense of clarity, I would completely change my relationship with money. It's not about the thrill of buying something new or impressing others with material wealth, it's about laying down a solid foundation for the future, so you can live without financial worries as you age. At 50, Charles, like many people, didn't think much about saving or investing for the long term. He figured there would always be time later to think about retirement and financial planning. After all, he was earning enough to cover his expenses, so why worry? I thought I had everything under control, Charles admits. I wasn't drowning in debt, and I could afford my lifestyle, so I didn't see the urgency in saving for the future. What I didn't realize is that financial security isn't just about being able to pay for what you want today, it's about being prepared for the unexpected and ensuring that you can live comfortably tomorrow. One of the hardest lessons Charles learned is that habits formed in your 50s can either set you up for financial freedom or leave you struggling as you get older. What seemed like small, insignificant spending choices at the time added up in ways he hadn't anticipated. While Charles was busy enjoying the moment, he was neglecting the future. I wish someone had told me how quickly time flies, Charles says. I thought I had decades ahead of me to worry about retirement, but before I knew it, I was in my 60s, then 70s, and suddenly my financial situation was not as stable as I had hoped. Charles emphasizes the importance of starting to save and invest early, even if you think it's too soon. By saving at least 10% of everything you earn, he advises, it might seem like a small amount at first, but over time, with the magic of compound interest, it grows into something significant. Most importantly, it gives you peace of mind. No material possession in the world can compare to the sense of security that comes from knowing you have a financial cushion for the future. He suggests a simple exercise to shift your perspective. Close your eyes and visualize yourself at 80 years old. Ask yourself, what will bring you more comfort and happiness at that stage of life? A healthy bank account that allows you to live without financial stress, or memories of luxury cars and fancy dinners? Charles reflects on this often. At 80, I've realized that my most cherished memories are not tied to things, they're tied to simple, meaningful moments with family and friends. The joy of material possessions fades, but the security of knowing you've taken care of your future lasts. Charles wants others to understand that while money itself doesn't bring happiness, financial security does. Knowing that you can afford medical care, live comfortably, and not have to worry about money in your old age brings a deep sense of peace that no impulsive purchase ever will. He emphasizes that it's not too late to start saving and planning, but the sooner you begin, the better off you'll be. The earlier you start, the easier it will be, he advises. One of the key steps to building financial security is educating yourself about money. Charles regrets not taking the time to learn about financial planning earlier in life. At 50, you still have time to learn about investing, retirement planning, and how to manage your money wisely. Don't leave your financial future in the hands of others, take control of it yourself. He suggests starting with simple, practical steps. Create a budget, track your expenses, and cut unnecessary costs. You'd be surprised at how much you can save just by paying attention to where your money goes, Charles says. Small changes add up over time. Charles also recommends that people invest in their financial education. He encourages everyone to read books on personal finance, take online courses, and consult with a financial planner. The more you understand about money, the more empowered you'll be to make smart decisions, he says. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There are so many resources available today that can guide you in making informed financial choices. Another crucial lesson Charles learned is the importance of diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, he advises. Whether it's in investments, savings, or assets, diversify to minimize your risk. And remember, investing isn't the same as gambling. It's not about taking big risks for quick rewards. Look for solid, long-term investments that will grow steadily over time. Charles regrets not having diversified his investments earlier in life, but he's thankful he was able to correct course before it was too late. He also points out that while financial mistakes can be corrected later in life, the earlier you start, the more time you have to recover from any missteps. At 50, you still have time to adjust your financial habits, invest wisely, and set yourself up for a secure future, he says. Use that time to your advantage. Don't wait until it becomes an urgent necessity. Charles wraps up his thoughts with a powerful reflection on the purpose of money. Money is a tool, not the end goal, he says with conviction. It's meant to provide security, freedom, and peace of mind, not to impress others or fill emotional voids. When you use money wisely, you're not just buying material things, you're buying freedom from worry, the ability to live on your terms, and the peace that comes with knowing you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. For Charles, this understanding has been one of the most important lessons of his life. He now knows that true wealth isn't about having more, it's about needing less. It's about living with the confidence that comes from knowing you've built a solid financial foundation and that you've made choices today that will serve you well in the future. Every time you save, every time you invest in your future, you're giving a gift to yourself, he says. And trust me, your future self will be forever grateful. In the end, Charles's message is one of wisdom and caution. Don't wait until it's too late to realize that money is meant to bring you security, not fleeting happiness. Make smart choices today, save diligently, invest wisely, and take control of your financial future. Your happiness in old age will depend far more on your peace of mind and security than on the luxuries you once bought. The true reward of financial planning is freedom, the freedom to live comfortably without stress and to enjoy the simple, meaningful things that truly matter in life, Charles says with a smile. If you're still with me and find these insights helpful, please comment 3 below to let me know. Also, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support really makes a difference and helps me continue bringing you these life-changing lessons. 6. Relationships are the key to happiness. By the time you reach 50, it's crucial to start investing more time in nurturing your relationships, because they are what will truly matter as the years go by. Charles vividly remembers how his priorities were aligned when he was 50. Work always came first, family and friends were relegated to second place, and whatever energy remained, he spent trying to ensure a comfortable future for everyone. I believe that by focusing on my career and financial success, I was doing what was best for my loved ones, Charles recalls. Little did I know that in the process, I was sacrificing the things that truly mattered. I missed so many precious moments, he says, his voice heavy with regret. My kids' birthdays, family dinners, reunions with old friends, I always had an excuse, always something more important to do. What a foolish mistake. Charles learned the hard way that relationships are life's true treasure. It's the bonds we create and nurture with others that give meaning to our existence and sustain us through both joyful and difficult times. If I could go back to my 50s, Charles says wistfully, I would make relationships my #1 priority. Family, friends, community, these are the pillars of a truly rich and satisfying life. Not money, not career success, but the love and connection we share with those around us. Charles realized that no amount of professional achievement or financial security could ever replace the warmth and fulfillment that come from meaningful relationships. He stresses the importance of investing time and energy into cultivating genuine connections. It's not just about being physically present, Charles explains. It's about being emotionally available and truly engaged with the people in your life. Listen attentively, show genuine interest in the lives of others, share your vulnerabilities and struggles. It's through these moments of openness and honesty that real connections are forged. To help prioritize relationships, Charles suggests doing a relationship inventory. List the most important people in your life, your spouse, children, parents, siblings, and closest friends, then ask yourself how much time and energy you devote to each of them. Do your actions reflect the importance these people hold in your life? Charles asks. This kind of self-reflection can be eye-opening, revealing the gaps between what we say matters and how we actually spend our time. One of the key lessons Charles learned is that the quality of relationships is far more important than quantity. In a world that often values having a large social circle, Charles encourages people to focus instead on nurturing deep, meaningful connections with a smaller group of loved ones. It's not about having hundreds of acquaintances or followers on social media, he says. It's about having a handful of people who truly know you, who love you unconditionally, and who will stand by you through thick and thin. These are the connections that will sustain you over the years. Charles also emphasizes the importance of resolving conflicts and misunderstandings quickly. Don't let resentments build up, he warns. Life is too short to hold grudges or allow bitterness to fester. Learn to forgive, apologize, and have the difficult conversations that are necessary to keep relationships healthy. He knows from experience that unresolved tension can weaken even the strongest of bonds, and he encourages people to take the time to address issues as they arise. Another way to nurture relationships is through the creation of family rituals and traditions. Charles suggests establishing regular moments of connection, whether it's a weekly family dinner, an annual trip with friends, or even something as simple as a daily phone call to your parents. These rituals create lasting memories and strengthen the bonds that hold families and friendships together, Charles says. It's not about the grandeur of the event, it's about the consistency. These small, regular moments of connection build the foundation for a lifetime of shared joy and support. Charles also stresses the importance of remaining open to new relationships, even after 50. It's never too late to make new friends or deepen existing connections, he says with enthusiasm. Stay curious about people, remain open to new experiences, and be willing to broaden your circle. You never know when or where you might meet someone who will bring new joy and perspective into your life. Charles has made some of his closest friends later in life, proving that there's always room for new connections, no matter your age. In addition to the emotional benefits, Charles highlights the profound impact that strong relationships have on physical health. Studies have shown that people with strong social ties live longer, are more resilient to illness, and recover from setbacks more quickly. On the other hand, social isolation can be as harmful to health as smoking or a sedentary lifestyle, Charles points out. Investing in your relationships isn't just good for your heart, it's good for your body too. He wishes he had recognized this connection earlier in life, but he now emphasizes it to anyone who will listen. As Charles reflects on the years he spent prioritizing work and material success over relationships, he can't help but feel a sense of loss. I thought I was doing the right thing by focusing on providing for my family, he says. But what they needed most wasn't just financial stability, they needed my presence, my attention, my love. Charles wraps up this point with a heartfelt reflection. In the end, what matters are the people we love and who love us. It's the shared moments, the laughter, the tears, the conversations, the simple joys of being together, that give life meaning. Prioritize that now, before it's too late. Because when you look back on your life, it's the relationships you built and the memories you shared that will sustain you. They will be your greatest treasure. Charles's wisdom is a powerful reminder that success and happiness are not measured by the number of promotions we get or the size of our bank account. True wealth lies in the relationships we build, the family dinners, the heartfelt conversations, the traditions we create, and the love we give and receive. The connections we nurture today are the ones that will carry us through the rest of our lives, providing the comfort, joy, and support we need to thrive, Charles says. If you're still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know you're still here with me. And while you're at it, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss out on more valuable content like this. Your support means a lot and helps keep these lessons coming. 7. Live by your own rules. Never let others' expectations define your life. Everyone moves at their own pace, and yours is unique. At 50, Charles seemed to have it all, at least by society's standards. He had a successful career, a big house, and a fancy car. On the outside, his life appeared perfect, the very definition of success that others admired. But deep down, Charles felt something was off. I was living to meet others' expectations, Charles confesses. I was trying to please my parents, impress my colleagues, and fit into society's mold of what it means to be successful. I was so focused on doing what was expected of me that I forgot to ask myself what I wanted out of life. Looking back, Charles sees this as one of the biggest mistakes he made. He was living according to a script written by others, a script that left him feeling empty inside despite all the outward success. I realized too late that living by others' rules leads to a life filled with regret, with endless what-ifs hanging over your head, he says. If I could go back to my 50s, Charles says with a wistful tone, I would give myself permission to live by my own rules. It doesn't matter what others expect of you or what society deems as successful, what truly matters is being honest with yourself and living the life you want. Charles emphasizes the importance of pausing and reflecting on your values, your dreams, and what brings you genuine joy. He encourages people to ask themselves, am I living the life I truly want? Are the choices I'm making my own, or are they influenced by what others expect of me? It's a powerful question, one that can lead to significant personal growth and change. Charles suggests trying a visualization exercise. Picture yourself at the end of your life, looking back. What kind of life would you want to have lived? What choices would you want to have made? Use that vision to guide the decisions you make today. Charles learned that it's never too late to change course. Even at 50, when many people believe their paths are set, you still have decades ahead of you. There's still time to recalibrate and make choices that align with who you truly are. Don't be afraid to make drastic changes if they bring you closer to what you want, he urges. Change can be scary, but it's far scarier to reach the end of your life and realize you lived it for someone else instead of yourself. One of the most important lessons Charles wishes he had learned earlier is the importance of defining your version of success. Success isn't about money, status, or recognition, he says. It's about living a life that aligns with your values. It's about finding joy in what you do and making a difference in a way that feels meaningful to you, not to anyone else. Charles reflects on how he used to equate success with external validation, achieving milestones others admired, but he now knows that real success comes from within, from living authentically, and pursuing what truly matters to you. For those struggling with how to begin, Charles suggests starting with small steps. Identify one area of your life where you feel like you're living according to someone else's expectations, then think about one small change you can make to live more in line with your desires. It doesn't have to be drastic, small changes can add up over time and lead to significant shifts in how you live your life, he says. Another key piece of advice Charles shares is to surround yourself with people who support your authenticity. Cultivate relationships with people who encourage you to be yourself, who celebrate your uniqueness rather than trying to mold you into something you're not, he says. It's not always easy to break away from societal pressures or family expectations, but having a strong support system can make it easier to stay true to who you are. However, Charles is careful to point out that living by your own rules doesn't mean disregarding the feelings and needs of others. It's not about being selfish or ignoring your responsibilities, he explains. It's about finding a balance, being true to yourself while still being considerate of the people you care about and the relationships that matter to you. Charles believes that it's entirely possible to live authentically while also being a responsible and caring member of your community and family. As Charles reflects on his journey, he knows that fear of judgment and societal pressure are what hold many people back from living the lives they truly want. We spend so much time worrying about what others think, whether they'll approve of our choices, whether we're meeting their expectations, he says. But in the end, those opinions don't matter. What matters is that you live a life that feels true to you. You are the author of your own story. Don't let the fear of others' judgment keep you from writing the story you want to live. Charles wraps up this point with a final reflection, urging others not to wait as long as he did to embrace their authenticity. True happiness comes from being who you are, from living according to your values and passions, he says with conviction. Start today. Don't wait until you're 80 to realize that you've been living someone else's life. Give yourself permission to follow your own path, and you'll find a happiness and peace that no one else can give you. Charles's message is a powerful reminder that the only expectations that truly matter are the ones you set for yourself. Life is too short to live by someone else's rules. When you give yourself the freedom to define your success and live by your values, you unlock the potential for a life of fulfillment and joy. It's never too late to start living authentically, Charles says. Whether you're 50 or 80, the path to happiness is always open to those who are brave enough to follow it. 8. Balance between work and life is essential. When you are in your 50s, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that work is everything. The pursuit of career success often becomes a priority, overshadowing other important aspects of life. Charles was no different. He spent his 50s working tirelessly, trying to reach the pinnacle of his career. He believed that his value was tied to how much he could achieve professionally. He equated long hours with success, thinking that the more time he dedicated to work, the better life would be for his family. But now, looking back at the age of 80, Charles realizes how mistaken he was. I thought I was being a good provider, Charles reflects. I thought that if I worked hard and made enough money, everything else would fall into place. But I didn't understand that my presence, my time, was what my family needed most. Charles admits that he missed countless important moments, birthdays, school plays, family dinners, all sacrificed at the altar of career success. The cost of those sacrifices was far greater than he ever imagined. Charles wants others to understand that work is important, but it should never come at the expense of personal relationships, health, and happiness. There's nothing wrong with striving for career success, he says, but it has to be balanced. Your job is just one part of your life, not the entirety of who you are. He stresses that it's crucial to draw clear boundaries between work and personal life, to protect the time you have with your loved ones and to nurture other aspects of your well-being. Charles learned that maintaining a healthy work-life balance involves setting firm boundaries and being intentional about how you use your time. I wish I had learned to say no more often, he admits. I was always taking on extra projects, always saying yes to every request, even when it meant missing out on important family events. I thought I was being a good employee, but I was failing my family. He urges people in their 50s to recognize the value of their time and to be protective of it. Time is the one thing you can never get back, Charles says. No amount of money or career success can replace the memories you miss out on. Be present. Be there for the people who matter most to you. Charles suggests practical ways to establish a better work-life balance. He recommends setting specific work hours and sticking to them as much as possible, even if you work from home. When your workday is over, shut down your computer, put away your phone, and turn your attention to your family or your hobbies, he advises. Create rituals that help you transition from work mode to personal time, whether that's going for a walk, reading a book, or cooking dinner with your loved ones. Another important aspect of maintaining balance is learning to delegate and prioritize. You don't have to do everything yourself, Charles says. I wish I had trusted my colleagues more and allowed them to share the workload. Delegating not only makes you more efficient, but it also allows others to grow and take on new responsibilities. And remember, not everything is urgent. Learn to distinguish between what truly requires your immediate attention and what can wait. Charles also emphasizes the importance of taking time off. He regrets not taking more vacations, not allowing himself the time to rest and recharge. I used to think that taking time off was a sign of weakness, he says. But now I know that rest is essential. You can't pour from an empty cup. Taking time to rest makes you more productive, more creative, and ultimately happier. He advises people to use their vacation days, to take breaks, and to truly disconnect from work during those times. Don't just take time off and then spend it checking emails or worrying about what's happening at the office, he says. Be fully present in your time off. Spend it with your loved ones, pursue your hobbies, travel, or simply rest. Those moments are what you will remember in the years to come. One of the most significant lessons Charles learned is that productivity does not equal worth. For so long, I measured my worth by how much I could achieve, he says. I thought that if I wasn't constantly working, I wasn't valuable. But your worth isn't tied to your productivity. You are valuable because of who you are, not just because of what you do. Charles encourages people to find joy outside of work, to cultivate hobbies and interests that bring them happiness. I wish I had spent more time painting, he says with a smile. It's something I always enjoyed, but I never made time for it because I thought work was more important. Now, I paint whenever I can, and it brings me so much peace and joy. He urges others to make time for the things they love, whether it's painting, gardening, playing music, or simply spending time in nature. These are the things that bring balance to your life and make it truly fulfilling. Charles also speaks about the importance of being present, both at work and at home. When you're at work, give it your all, he says. But when you're at home, be fully present there as well. Don't bring work home with you, don't let it take over your personal time. Be present with your family, listen to them, share in their joys and their challenges. Those moments of connection are what life is all about. He acknowledges that achieving balance is not always easy, especially in a world that often glorifies overwork and burnout. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, Charles says. But the truth is, no one looks back on their life and wishes they had spent more time at the office. What you will remember are the moments spent with loved ones, the experiences that brought you joy, and the times when you truly lived. Charles also points out that maintaining work-life balance is not just beneficial for individuals, but for their families and communities as well. When you take care of yourself and find balance, you're a better partner, parent, friend, and community member, he says. Your well-being affects everyone around you. By taking care of yourself, you're also taking care of those you love. Another important lesson Charles learned is that success is subjective. Society often defines success in terms of money and status, he says. But real success is about finding fulfillment and happiness in all areas of your life, not just in your career. It's about having meaningful relationships, taking care of your health, and doing things that bring you joy. That is what true success looks like. Charles advises people to redefine success for themselves, to not get caught up in societal expectations. Take a step back and ask yourself, what does success look like to me, he says. It might not be climbing the corporate ladder or making a six-figure salary. It might be having time to spend with your family, pursuing a passion project, or simply being content with where you are. Define success on your own terms, and don't let anyone else dictate what it should look like. He also talks about the importance of setting realistic goals and expectations for yourself. I used to set these incredibly high expectations for myself, Charles says. I thought I had to do it all, be the perfect employee, the perfect father, the perfect provider. But perfection is an illusion, and striving for it only leads to burnout and disappointment. Set realistic goals for yourself, and remember that it's okay to rest, it's okay to take a step back. You are enough, just as you are. Charles wraps up this lesson by emphasizing that balance is not something you achieve once and then forget about, it's an ongoing process. Life is always changing, and so is what balance looks like, he says. There will be times when work requires more of your attention, and that's okay. But there will also be times when your family or your health needs to come first. Be flexible, be kind to yourself, and remember that balance is about making adjustments as you go. Charles's message is a powerful reminder that work is just one part of life, not the whole of it. Don't let your career define you, he says. You are so much more than your job. Make time for the people you love, the activities that bring you joy, and the moments that make life truly meaningful. That is where true happiness lies, in the balance between work and the rest of your life. If you're still here and finding value in these lessons, please comment 5 below to let me know you're with me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more valuable insights like these. Your support helps keep these life lessons coming. 9. Embrace change, don't fear it. Change is a constant in life, yet many of us fear it. At 50, Charles was terrified of change. He had spent decades building a stable life, a successful career, a comfortable home, and a predictable routine. He thought that maintaining the status quo was the best way to ensure happiness and security. But as the years went by, Charles learned that change is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's the very thing that keeps us growing, learning, and evolving. I used to think that change meant losing control, Charles recalls. I thought that if I just kept everything the same, I could hold on to my happiness. But life doesn't work that way. Change happens whether you like it or not. The key is to embrace it, adapt, and find the opportunities that come with it. Charles wishes he had understood this earlier. He spent so much time resisting change, at work, in his personal life, and even in his own mindset, that he missed out on opportunities for growth and joy. One of the most important lessons Charles learned is that change is often the catalyst for growth. The times when I was forced to change, whether it was a career shift, a move to a new city, or even a change in my health, those were the times when I grew the most, he says. Change pushes you out of your comfort zone. It challenges you to adapt, to learn new things, and to become a stronger version of yourself. Charles wants others to understand that resisting change only makes life harder. The more you resist, the more you suffer, he says. But when you learn to go with the flow, to accept that change is a part of life, you find a sense of peace. You learn to see change not as a threat, but as an opportunity. He recalls how he resisted a major career change in his 50s. His company was going through restructuring, and he was offered a new role that was completely different from what he had been doing for years. At first, he was angry and scared. He didn't want to leave the familiar behind. But eventually, he accepted the new role, and to his surprise, he found it incredibly fulfilling. That change ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me, he says. It opened doors I never even knew existed. Charles emphasizes the importance of staying adaptable. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt is what allows us to thrive. You have to be willing to pivot, he says. Sometimes things don't go as planned, and that's okay. Being adaptable means you can take whatever life throws at you and make the best of it. He encourages people to view change as a chance to reinvent themselves, to explore new possibilities, and to discover new passions. Think about the times in your life when you faced a major change, Charles suggests. Maybe it was a new job, a move, or a shift in a relationship. At the time, it might have felt overwhelming or even scary. But looking back, you can probably see how that change led to something positive, how it helped you grow or brought new opportunities into your life. Charles believes that by reflecting on past changes, we can learn to trust the process and have faith that even difficult changes can lead to something good. Charles also wants people to understand that change is not just about external circumstances, it's also about internal growth. We have to be willing to change our minds, to challenge our beliefs, and to grow as individuals, he says. I used to be so set in my ways. I thought I had everything figured out. But as I got older, I realized that the world is constantly changing, and so should I. The person I am today is not the same person I was at 50, and that's a good thing. Growth is a lifelong journey. One of the biggest changes Charles experienced was learning to let go of the need for control. I used to be a control freak, he admits with a smile. I wanted everything to go according to my plan. But life doesn't work that way. The more I tried to control everything, the more stressed and unhappy I became. It wasn't until I learned to let go, to trust that things would work out, even if they didn't go according to my plan, that I found true peace. Charles urges others to let go of the illusion of control and to trust in the natural flow of life. Life is full of surprises, he says. Some of them are wonderful, and some are challenging. But all of them are opportunities to learn, to grow, and to become a better version of yourself. When you let go of the need to control everything, you open yourself up to the beauty and unpredictability of life. Another important aspect of embracing change is learning to take risks. I used to play it safe, Charles says. I didn't want to take risks because I was afraid of failure. But I've learned that the biggest regrets in life are not the risks you take that don't work out, they're the risks you don't take at all. He encourages people to step out of their comfort zones and take chances, even if they're scared. Whether it's starting a new career, moving to a new place, or pursuing a passion you've always dreamed of, take the risk. You never know what amazing things could come from it. Charles also speaks about the importance of a growth mindset. A growth mindset is about believing that you can learn and grow, no matter your age, he says. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities, not obstacles. It's about being curious, asking questions, and being open to new ideas. He wishes he had embraced a growth mindset earlier in life, but now, he makes it a point to keep learning and growing every day. I read, I take courses, I learn from the people around me. There's always something new to learn, and that's what keeps life exciting. Charles shares a story about how learning something new in his later years brought him unexpected joy. I never thought I'd learn to play the piano, he says with a chuckle. But one day, I decided to give it a try. It was hard at first, I struggled, and I made a lot of mistakes. But I stuck with it, and now, I can play a few of my favorite songs. It's brought so much joy into my life, and it's a reminder that it's never too late to learn something new. He encourages others to embrace lifelong learning, to never stop exploring new interests and passions. Learning keeps your mind sharp, it keeps you curious, and it keeps you young at heart, Charles says. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking up a new hobby, or simply reading about something you're interested in, keep learning. It's one of the best ways to embrace change and continue growing. Charles concludes his message with a powerful reminder: change is inevitable. It's the only constant in life. But it's not something to fear, it's something to welcome. Every change, every new chapter, is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Don't resist it. Embrace it. Lean into it. Trust that each change is taking you exactly where you need to go. As Charles reflects on his journey, he knows that embracing change has been one of the most important lessons of his life. The moments when I was willing to embrace change, when I let go of fear and took a leap of faith, those were the moments that brought me the most growth, the most joy, and the most fulfillment, he says. I wish I had learned sooner that change is a gift. It's what keeps us alive, what keeps us moving forward. Charles's wisdom is a powerful reminder that life is always changing, and that's a beautiful thing. Don't cling to the past, he says. Don't fear the future. Embrace the present, embrace the unknown, and embrace the changes that come your way. They are what make life an adventure. If you're still here and have found value in these lessons, please comment 6 below to let me know you're with me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more valuable insights like these. Your support helps keep these life lessons coming, and I hope they inspire you as much as they've inspired me.